Hi, thanks for joining me here. On this video, I want to run through the process that we're going to be using to set up our blog from scratch, basically. We've got a domain registered, projectfamilyfreedom.com. In fact, it's probably you're watching this video on the actual projectfamilyfreedom.com website right now, and actually recording this before it's even set up. So I want to kind of document the process that I'm going through here to, I guess, show you how it's done, number one, but also kind of showcase the actual platform that we're using here as well and what this actual website's built around. So hopefully you get some value from this, but we're going to dive right in, keep this pretty short. It's actually not a very difficult task. It's very non-technical, so you'll pick it up straight away. So that's what's the beauty of this particular blogging system that we use. It is very simple and user-friendly. So here we are on the Collato dashboard, it says there. So this is Collato Premium, and basically this is one of the products that we sell through our business, and you could also get access to if you wanted to. This is a blogging platform that's based around WordPress. So if you're familiar with WordPress and you've used it before, this is it's basically an overlay on top of WordPress. So WordPress is the industry standard, I think, for blogging systems and customer relationship management systems. It's just so versatile, and you can build entire business websites out of WordPress, and you don't need that to basically run this particular little business idea that we've got, this business model. You can keep it very simple, and basically everything that you need for a blogging system is built in Collato Premium. So I'm going to dive right in. You actually get 10 blogs with your subscription to Collato Premium. So I've used 8 out of 10 there, you can see. But what we're going to do is set up a new blog. And what we need to do is basically then map the domain name that we've got on top of the Collato blog. Now, I'll explain what I mean in a moment. But there's a couple of things that we want to do. So when we've got our blogging system here, we've got a domain name. We now need to point that domain name somewhere so it can see the content of what we're putting up there on the web. So I guess this particular system, it includes hosting. Everything that you need for your website is all included in the package. So you don't need to worry about getting an extra subscription to a hosting service like you would normally do with a WordPress website. Hosting is all included, unlimited hosting within the package as well. So all you basically need to do is map your domain onto their particular custom domain names as well. So you can see here they've got a list, create a new blog. You would create it under one of these 4 domain names, and map your domain on top of it so that the search engines see your domain name, not the underlying domain name, so when they're listing your content. But there is a few steps to go through. Within the back office here, if you go down to domain mapping, there is actually some tutorials there. Actually, sorry, under the tutorial section, under domain tutorials, once we want to map the domain, that's where we go to domain mapping. But I just want to run through what we're actually doing in this particular scenario, which I've discovered is a better way to do it. Better or worse, it doesn't make any difference. But if you want to use a custom email, for example, then you also need a hosting service as well on top of that, someone to host the email. So this doesn't come with a specific email address, although we do have another package called Collato Cloud that does have its own built-in email. However, if you want an email address that's related to your domain name, like jeremy@projectfamilyfreedom.com, for example, which I do, I want to get that email. So it's more congruent with your overall website design and theme, and it looks more professional, of course, as well if you're trying to brand yourself. So a domain email is very important. So what we need to do is, I've got a hosting package that I use with HostGator as an example of one particular hosting company. There's many out there. You don't have to use this particular one, but HostGator does everything I need it to do, and I've got all my domain names listed on that particular host, so I can have multiple domain names on one hosting account, and it's very inexpensive. So what I basically do is map the domain to my HostGator account, and then the HostGator account is mapped to my Collato Premium blog. So it's kind of a 2-step rather than just the single step of mapping your host, which is at GoDaddy, in my example, mapping the GoDaddy domain straight to your Collato blog. I'm just adding that hosting account in the middle of it and overlaying that one on top. So a little bit confusing, I understand. I'll show you as we go through what we're doing here. But the first step is, what we want to do is actually point the domain name to our hosting company. In this case, I'm going to use my HostGator account rather than the Collato Premium hosting, because I want to actually get the email set up on this particular domain name. So here we go. Click over to my GoDaddy account, and I've logged into the actual domain details page here, you can see. Now, I've got here, what we want to try and do here is update the name servers. So these two fields here. So what we do is click on Manage, and let's do this. We want to have custom domain servers. We're currently using the default name server, so we want to enter custom name server information. You can see there's 2 fields here. So what we need to do to get those name servers, they're provided by our hosting company, which in this, as I said, is HostGator, and you may use HostGator as well. They're a great little company. Nothing against HostGator. So what we do is we scroll down here on our account information bar here, and I'll blank out some of the info for privacy reasons, but don't be offended. We pop these in here. Pretty straightforward and simple. So this is what they call updating name servers, and basically what it does is points your domain name to the server of where the actual content that's going to be displayed on the web is sitting. So in this case, we're not going to be using our hosting company for anything more than just an email in this particular scenario, but if I was to actually start building a WordPress website, for example, I would install WordPress on my hosting account and start designing the website from there. And then that's all the content is actually sitting on a server that I'm renting off HostGator. In this case, and I do have some websites like that where I use just the raw WordPress for different websites that I'm building and that sort of thing for clients and for myself. However, this particular case, what we're doing is just mapping it on there and then using the Klartoo Premium hosting account to serve. So we're kind of forwarding it through HostGator in a way. There we go, save that, and that'll take a few minutes to update. It's usually done pretty quickly. Let me just show you. Right, so this will update in a moment. I'll just refresh the screen again. That's probably done now. There we go. So you can see that the name servers have been updated to HostGator. That's pretty much all we need to do there. So back here on our hosting account dashboard, we're going to scroll down here to add-on domains. Not subdomains, we want to click on add-on domain. So we're going to add an add-on domain to our hosting service, which is going to be our domain name that we just updated the name servers for. And this is going to be, the new domain name is projectfamilyfreedom.com. And you can see there that it has a document root, it updates everything for you. We can set a password here. Let's make sure we write the password down, which is very important. Just stick it on a notepad, and that should suffice. Good security. And we want to go add domain. That's all we really need to do there, and that's going to now add an add-on domain into our hosting account. The domain is now pointing to that hosting account, and pretty soon, actually, whenever you go to that domain name, it'll go through HostGator. Now what we want to do is tell HostGator to point that domain name to our Klartoo Premium. So what we're going to do here is go to the home, and it's a pretty straightforward process. And there, as I said, there is some tutorials. If I click over here to the tutorials, under domain tutorials, there is a GoDaddy mapping tutorial here. And if a couple of other domain names, domain registrar companies that you may use, there's also tutorials for those on how to actually map the domain. But as I said, we're using a hosting service in addition to their basic, so these tutorials don't assume that. Alright, so let's click back here to our host. We want to go to... Okay, so the next thing I want to do is actually, like in the tutorials that are in the back office of Klartoo Premium, is to forward the base domain name to its www version of the domain name. So what that basically means is there are actually 2 versions of your website when you register it. You've got the websitename.com version, and then you've got the www.websitename.com version. So there are the search engines actually see that as 2 different sites, and you can actually install different content on 2 different versions of the site. But what we want to do, just to save the confusion, because we are mapping it to an underlying domain, to save confusion from the search engines thinking, oh, you've got content on 2 domains now, because it would see that same content on the root domain as well as the overlaid domain, if that makes sense. Getting confusing here, but if it sees the duplicate content, you could be penalized in the search engines. So that's one of the main reasons we do it. So we want to, if somebody types in just yourdomainname.com, it will automatically forward to the www version of your domain name. So that's what we're going to do here quickly. We can go down to domains once again and go to redirects. That's the first step here. So redirects, and we're going to redirect the domain name to our www. So what we want, permanent's fine. Go down, find your domain name, projectfamilyfreedom.com. We leave that blank, it's going to be the root, and it redirects to www.projectfamilyfreedom.com. The redirect location must begin, beg your pardon. We need that in front as well. So all we're doing, basically saying here is that http projectfamilyfreedom.com will redirect to http://www. So this is basically saying we want this one clicked, which is fine. Redirect with or without the wwws. Always, in all cases, we want to redirect any version of the website to the www version of it. So we just add that in, and that's it. So that on that step, that's all we need to do there. I'll just show you what it looks like once it's updated. Okay, it's currently being redirected to www. There we go. So now we can go back to the home screen, and we want to now update the DNS records so that it points to our Colatu Premium blog. So that to do that, I should say, we go into the Advanced DNS Zone Editor. Again, on this domain section, we're just dealing with the domain at the moment. Find our website, our domain name, and what we're going to do here is to basically add in a CNAME record. So to do that, before we do this step, I should say, is that we do need to actually set up the blog on the Colatu Premium, which is going to give us the CNAME record and the address. So let's do that first quickly. We'll click back to our Manage Blog section here, and we're going to say we're going to build choose one of these domain names. Blog for Business is fine. Site name is going to be the actual name that's going to appear in the URL of the domain name. So let's just call it Project Family Freedom, with no spaces, and the actual site title, same name again, Create New Blog. And that's going to go in and create some space on the servers for the Colatu Premium servers, and actually allocate a blog to our particular account, and we can then start to use it and blog on it and do stuff with it. So that's what's happening here. And then eventually you get this little pop-up that comes up and says your new blog was successfully created. We're opening it in a new window for you now. So we click OK. Okay, you can see it's been added to the list here. Project Family Freedom. It's blogforbusinessonline.com/Project Family Freedom. So what we can do now is log into that one, and instantly we're away. We're actually up and running with the setup process of the actual Colatu Premium blog. So here it's asking us to connect our social networking accounts. So I might just quickly connect the Facebook page to it, for example. Let's have a look here. Just log in to Facebook. And I can do the other ones a little bit later. So we'll go to the next step. Here we've got site information. Here we can put in a title and a tagline or a slogan. Let's say expanding prosperity for families. Something like that, I don't know. I'll think up a tagline later. That sounds pretty good. Now we can go start blogging. Simple as that. So when now our blog is set up and it's ready to go, we could actually now just start blogging and put the content out there. But it would come up with that particular domain name of blogforbusinessonline.com/Project Family Freedom. If we want to brand ourselves and create a bit of a presence online using our own domain, this is the next step. We've got the domain name Project Family Freedom. We've mapped it to our HostGator account. And in fact, when I go back into HostGator next, I can actually then go in and create an email address as well. So that's another step. I might not include that on this particular tutorial because it's not necessarily needed, but you can obviously, if you've used HostGator before, you know how to create an email address, I'm sure. So you can actually go ahead and create that email once we're done here. So here we are on the dashboard of our new blog, projectfamilyfreedom. It's going to be projectfamilyfreedom.com. What we want to do is now map the domain on this particular blog. So here it's asking us to add new domain, and we're going to say www.projectfamilyfreedom.com. So that's going to be the primary domain for this blog, and we're going to go add. And as you can see here, we've got two domains, projectfamilyfreedom.com and blogforbusinessonline.com/Project Family Freedom. So the primary domain, the one it's always going to forward to, the website it's always going to forward to is the primary domain. So that's why we want to keep that set as our customized domain. The next thing we're going to do is set up a site key, and you need this from Google. So what we do is click on this little link here, and we can add in register a new site. So we're going to register www version again. Call it that again. And registered. So that's it. We're now registered under that. You obviously need a Gmail account to log into Google, but you can register the domain name that you're mapping to get a reCAPTCHA code. Now we've got the site key and we've got the secret key. Just copy that site key. I'm going to go back here to our site key, just paste it in there, and the secret key. Just grab that and paste that one in there. Save. You have successfully updated your reCAPTCHA key. So great. Next thing we need to do, and that's going to take a little while. It would, maybe just refresh the blog. You're not going to see it immediately. So the next thing we're going to do is go back to our HostGator account now, go down to our advanced DNS zone editor, and we need to reset some of the DNS settings here. Again, don't get too scared that this is all too technical. Just follow the steps that I'm doing here. It's very, very simple once you get the hang of it. So what first thing we need to do is remove one of these lines. So in this CNAME record, scroll down until you see the www.yourdomainname.com, whatever that is. And you'll see that this is the www version of it. So and this has got a CNAME in here pointing to the non-domain name. So we actually want to remove that because we want to remap the www version to our Colatu blog actually. So that's what we're doing here. So we're going to delete that one, and that'll be done there. So we hit delete. That's gone. Now what we can do is add a record. If we come back up here and we go www, and that automatically adds that in for us. TTL, we can leave that blank, or if you want to, I'm not sure if it actually requires it, 14,400. What it means is the amount of time it takes to propagate in the system. It looks to me like, I've never really understood it, but 14,400 seconds or microseconds or something. Now here we want to have CNAME, and we're going to map it to, CNAME is going to be colatublog.com. And the reason is that's if you go into the actual tutorials in the back office here, I beg your pardon, the dashboard of your Colatu blog system, you'll notice it's the same settings that are displayed in this particular video. So it actually tells you what to map your domain name to. And in here it just says, it's colatublog.com. Colatu blog without the wwws in front of it. That's their domain name that they're hosting everything on. So that's where we're mapping it to. We don't need to worry about it. So add record, we need to have something in here. So 14,400, just add that in there. Again, it's 14,400 seconds. I don't know if it makes any difference if you make it shorter or larger or smaller, but let's just add it in, 14,400. And there we go. System successfully added the record. So now we can see the, at the bottom, probably at the bottom, www.projectfamily3.com is now got a CNAME referencing colatublog.com. Now, this does take a little while, as I said, so there's nothing more to do in this particular scenario. We can now, we've logged into our blog here, we can start blogging effectively and start to use the site. But there's lots of stuff you can do. You can explore the different options in the dashboard. But all you need to do now is start blogging. So there we go. Look, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope that this isn't dragged on too long. But now we're ready to start blogging. So all we do is go into our posts here. We might even actually go into the 21-day blogging challenge plugin up here, I should say, and start the challenge. And it'll actually give us a template of the blog post itself, and we can go in there and start blogging and just fill out the fields, and our blog post is instantly created. I'm going to do that in a moment. I'll run through another tutorial of how that works. But I hope you can see that now that we've mapped our domain to our Colatu Premium system. Very, very simple. You use the domain registrar to forward it, and you use HostGator to actually map the domain to our Colatu blog underlying system. So I hope that's not too complicated for you guys. Ask me any questions, leave a comment below this video if there is one in the comment section. I believe there will be. Let's get blogging.